Well, hey, Facebook and wherever else this recording goes. We are live here tonight. It's Thursday night, and we are thrilled to have you joining us. I'm Tia Knapp, and I have this incredible guest speaker who has a beautiful, powerful message for you. His name is.
Hello, it's Dr. Michael Gross. Thank you for joining us. Looking forward to this evening. Lots of information to share.
So I should just go ahead and introduce him because we do keep everything, we respect everybody's time and we keep this to 30 minutes. Correct?
All right.
Okay, so here we go. Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he's been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and an incredible teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to also bring forth their intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, Reiki, self empowerment, and other modalities. In concert with God, the true source, he also achieves great success and miraculous healings. I do not know why I'm scripting this. I don't want to miss any nugget. Right? You are phenomenal. And I always get sidetracked because of all the wonderful things that you do for people. It's
Oh, thank
incredible
you.
what I see.
Thank you.
We've been together a long time now, 4 years coming up.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, I know. And the amazing things that I've witnessed and experienced just because of your mentorship. So anyway, I better get back to this so that you can get to your message, okay?
All right.
He has, let me tell you, he is incredible, but he remains humble knowing that the work that he does all comes from God, the true source. Michael lives in Lakewood, Washington, and I'm going to go ahead and let Michael take over and introduce your topic. Okay, Michael?
All right. So, as you know, when I deliver a message, I'm channeling the information from the true source. So, as TU said, it's unscripted. So, sometimes if you hear me miss a word or back up, it's because the information is coming so quickly. So tonight, I asked a little while ago what I was supposed to speak about, and the subject was synchronicity in life. And we're all familiar with synchronicity, of course. Synchronicity is things that happen, as they say, serendipity. It happens all of a sudden. Oh wow, it's magic how it happens. Therefore, I'd like to talk about the magic that happens and synchronicity. First of all, when we talk about synchronicity, there are no accidents. It's something, synchronicity is something you have created in your thoughts for either a very short period of time or a long period of time. And it's something you wanted to bring into your life. Excuse me. And that has to do a lot with your thoughts and your energy and your vibration, synchronicity. So, as they say, there are no accidents, and everything in your life is for a purpose. You might have been thinking of someone, and all of a sudden you run into them at the store. Or sometimes I'm thinking of someone and they call me up. Oh, that's synchronicity. Well, not really, because you are manifesting or they are manifesting and meeting you. And you have a meeting of your energies, and the energies get together, and then you run into each other, you talk to each other, or you're on the phone. Therefore, look at synchronicity as something you have created. And if you created this synchronicity, there are two thoughts. Well, how can I make this happen all the time? And the other thought is, why did I do this? So let's go backwards. Why did I do this? There was something that you needed to clear, or you needed to talk to someone about, or some subject that will bring about love or joy or happiness, or something you wanted to do with someone. So this is one of the reasons that you're brought together. Your thoughts are reaching them, and their thoughts are reaching you. So there's an exchange of thoughts. Eventually, they meet in the middle, and as they meet in the middle, that's when you run into each other or speak with each other. And it's really just something great. So you're manifesting it. But the other thought you may have, well, hey, if I manifested this one through synchronicity, why can't I do it all the time? And if you were to ask me, I go, why not? And you would say, well, it's too hard, it's too difficult, it doesn't happen all the time. Let's look at how synchronicity works. And therefore, by doing that, you can understand how you are not only meeting someone, serendipity, if you will, or some situation, but you're learning how you're manifesting through your thoughts. I was remembering one time that I needed a letter from someone, and all of a sudden went to my mailbox, there was the letter. Or I thought I needed it in 2 weeks, and there it was in a week. We are creating our life through synchronicity. Synchronicity is something that it has to do with creation. So if we look at synchronicity and we look at creation and we look at manifestation, they're all joined together, the three of them, to have a specific outcome. So now you're thinking, well, this is really great. Uh-oh. What if I was thinking something negative about someone? My answer is, uh-oh. Yep, you are creating some kind of adversity or situation which is very uncomfortable. And notice my words. I don't want to say it's dramatic, drastic, life changing. It's something that you need to understand in your life, that you're creating everything in your life. That's the most important item or thought you can have, that you are creating everything in your life. So life is a matter of series of experiences, right? Right? And we grow from our experiences. From being a child and learning don't touch the hot pot and you go, what's hot? Touch it, you burn your finger. Or perhaps your mother may say, don't run now with a full cup of water, you're going to spill it, and you spill it, so you learn. This is how we learn through our experiences. But there's another way in which we can learn, and we can learn to control our thoughts. Then our thoughts become synchronicity, because if we're focusing on positive things in our life, no matter what the chaos is, you're going to have more and more positive things happen. If you're focusing on the chaos, the fear, and the doubt, congratulations. You're not a victim, you created it. We're all surrounded with positive and negative energy. People that are angry, upset, loving, caring, doubtful, harboring anger, frustration, all these things. And one of the things that we see on, YouTube or whatever they call them, Karen and Ken's. That's a real bad rap on Karen and Ken's. And I would think if my wife was pregnant, which that isn't so, I would think twice about naming our child Karen or Ken because of the connotation it carries. However, it's so really important is the connotation, because your name themes means something really powerful. Your name means something that you're going to create. So, if you use a name like Tiger, well, guess what? You're going to end up being aggressive. If you hear the name you're a pussycat, well, that means you're going to be very gentle. Or you hear another name, you're a horse's rear end or whatever, you're going to begin to act that way. Names are very important. And the reason names are so important is because they have a vibration and energy. They have a vibration and energy and a color. So, whatever name you have chosen, there's a reason, and you're going to attract that energy. So, supposing you had a name that was really aggressive, and because it's really aggressive, you have a middle name that's more gentle, and you might want to change your name to your middle name. And that's awfully important. So a very good friend of mine, once named their dog one of the names of one of these negative characters on TV, and the dog became very aggressive. Well, of course, it's going to take on that energy. My previous dog was the breeder named her Buddha, and she was very spiritual, very loving, and very gentle, and she took on that energy. And before that, I had another dog with another name, and he had a Asian name Daiju, which meant white snake. And white snake is Nikita is very protective, but he was not only protective, but he was silent. I'd be reading a book and he would come up to me and lick my face, and I'd jump 3 feet in the air. I would never hear him. But I just wasn't aware of the name. So whatever name you are, look up your name and see if you feel comfortable with what it means. You don't, you got a middle name, whatever. Now, I'm not advocating that your name is wrong. What I am advocating is that you need to look at that. And a very good friend of mine who, his son named his daughter Ophelia. And I went, oh my gosh. If you look up Ophelia and in Greece or Rome or whatever it was, she was a horrible person. So be careful the names you give them. You wanted to say something.
I do. I'll ask you about Ophelia another time. But my question was so our souls choose our bodies and our all the people in our family, etc. But does our soul choose our name?
Some cases it does. Most of the time, our parents choose our name, but at times they do. Now, you may be in meditation and supposing your name is Jane, and you hear you should call yourself Sarah. Well, then you should call yourself Sarah. If we looked up Sarah in the Bible, a beautiful, wonderful souls, and one of the mothers of the Hebrew, and of course, seraphim are an order of angels. So you can see the energy. Excuse me, the energy of the name Sarah. I'm just picking that up as a metaphor for us to understand. Many people. I'm Michael, as you know, and people. Oh, I like to be called Mike. Mike is very abrupt, very masculine, in your face, and a lot of Mikes, they use the word Mike, behave that way. Well, I like Michael because it has a beautiful tone, it's poetry, has it flows, and I didn't know about the Archangel Michael or whatever, but I enjoy the name Michael. So that's some of the things that I've done, and we all sometimes we're responsible for our names, but everyone should take a look, not only the names, but how people name cars and all that stuff. We give names. I used to have a name for my car. And it's a beautiful thing that we do, but our thoughts are always creating. And we get back to synchronicity. So, where are your thoughts? What are you calling and what are you saying? If you say that person, male or female, is an SOB, then they're always going to be that way to you. Maybe they're just acting that way because of their name and they're insecure, feeling unloved, have no self worth, self love, and self esteem. Many times when I'm working with souls and I notice their life is kind of chaotic, and I tell them, what's your middle name, and go by your middle name instead of your first name. And when they do that, their life begins to change and get really positive. It's really amazing. So there's something we need to talk about. Did I interrupt you, to you? Go ahead.
Just a tiny thing then, because my name is different, and I took a lot of
Flat.
bullying for my name. Uh, Can you talk about that really quick? What you do if you have a name that is unique in a lot of ways to cultures that don't recognize it?
Well, your first name is Tutiu. Have you looked up the derivation of the name? And it's
I
shown.
did once, but I don't remember all the
Well,
details.
I
It
would
was a
look at
mix.
it, and if that name, means something beautiful or pleasant or whatever, then just stay with it because it's the energy of the name. But I know you took a lot of hits with it and a lot of bullying, and that's just pure ignorance and arrogance on people. So you can always change your name. But one of the reasons I'm focusing on names rather so much is because it has to do with your thoughts. And you name yourself, by the way, and never the way, not after you're born. But people say they're stupid, they're dumb, they can't do this, they give themselves a name. They're a jerk, or they did something wrong, or whatever. And anytime you do that, you're setting up a vibration and frequency. And the synchronicity of it in life, well, situations will come to reinforce that. I remember the story about my sister who's no longer with us. And her husband was kind of a male chauvinist to some extent, although he had four daughters, so they kept him in line, kind of humorous, plus his wife. But anyway, she called me up and she said she was messing up the checkbook. And he said, "Oh, you're stupid. That's just the way he would talk. You can't even keep a checkbook." And she's like 50 years old. And she would always make a mistake on the checkbook. Called me, Michael, what I'm doing wrong. And I said, well, you made a mistake, and Harry just criticized you and took on the energy. No, no, no. I said, well, let me ask you a question. What do you do for a living? Well, I'm a loan officer, a mortgage broker, and you do both. How are your figures? They're always correct. You ever screw up? No. What's the difference between that and a checkbook? She said, I got it. And she never made another mistake. But because he had said these words to her, which have a lower vibration and energy, the synchronicity is she kept screwing up. And then finally, she changed. What happens is when you take on an energy or a thought, it begins to reproduce and becomes pregnant, shall we say, and keeps reproducing over and over and over into your life until you finally let it go. And that's what's so important. I would tell you my greatest challenge, and I'm working with a person now, is a doctor. Because the doctors, and they do wonderful work, no dispersions, but they're taught to think medically. Everything can be cured with a pill. Well, all pills do, some pills heal. They find antibiotics and they're really great. But when you're having a lot of stress in your life, what's happening? You think about your stress, you think about it, it gets worse and worse and worse because you're thinking about it. So you're exacerbating everything because what the mind can conceive, the body will believe. And therefore, he was saying, well, I'll have to see a psychiatrist. And what do? They give you some anti anxiety pill. And I explained to him, it's great. You feel great. You tried it before. Yep. Did it work? Great. I only wanted on it for a month or two. Then what happens? Well, it came back again. Right. So your thoughts are creating the synchronicity in your life because you're beginning to believe something. The only way that I'll be helped is having a pill, but I'm never going to be able to feel better. Well, congratulations. You win. You're right. What you think you create, what you create, you experience. God bless you. You're right. And we think analytically and logically, and I call it analogic. I put the two words together. We're always analyzing something. All our life, we're analyzing. You buy a new car and then you get a good price. Is it the right car? You have second thoughts. Sometimes they call it buyer's remorse or whatever. What are you putting into your thoughts that's creating synchronicity in your life? Well, if I can create chaos in my life, why can't I create joy and happiness? And my answer is, why can't you? And the answer is well, I'm trying. Stop it. Well, I hope it'll get there. I wish I'd get there. Stop it. You are a great manifester. You know what you're manifesting? I'm not getting my money. You're manifesting, hoping, wishing, maybe, perhaps, but you're not manifesting the final outcome. And that's what's so important. This is not from the true source, or may have been, but from someone else who I don't remember. What you are seeking is seeking you. So every thought you have, what you think you create, you experience, or what you are seeking is seeking you. So why don't we take a moment right now to listen what I'm saying and say to yourself, just for a moment, I desire to change my thinking. That old cliche, stinking thinking. It's time to change your thinking. So stop for a minute and say this 3 times. I'll hesitate. I desire to change my thinking into positivity. I desire to change my thinking to positivity. I desire to change my thinking to positivity. And that's all you need to do. Now that you said it 3 times, what are you doing? Well, you're creating the synchronicity. You're manifesting what you so desire. And now you're going to have positivity in your life. Have you ever thought about your synchronicity and thoughts together? How many positive thoughts do you have a day? How many negative and doubting thoughts do you have a day? I'm willing to bet most of you have more doubting, negative thoughts than positive thoughts. I'm willing to bet most of you have that. Well, why? And most people, I don't know. And I ask why. They get a little impatient. Why? And it comes down to some reason, whatever it is, they've learned from their life or parents or religious, and they've just embraced it. So here your mind is 94% of your thinking is your conscious mind. 6% is the conscious mind, subconscious mind. I won't, whatever it is, over and over and over again. Now you're creating that synchronicity of manifestation of negativity. Congratulations. You have won the grand prize. You have created that chaos in your life. How wonderful. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic, but what we really need to understand is where are our thoughts? Where are we going? When we were little children, some of you may remember, there was so much positivity in the books. The little train that could, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. There was so many positive messages for 3, 4, 5-year-olds in these books. It was wonderful. What's happened to it? Have we as adults become so sophisticated that we miss the messages of these nursery rhymes and these books? Have we thought maybe we need to bring this simplicity back in our lives? And let's look at the word simplicity. Whatever it means, let's just again, it's easy, it's basic, and attainable. Let's call it that. Now, what do we have? We have high tech, all this technology, and we've forgotten how to create something because creation itself is done by thought. Thought creates attraction. Attraction creates synchronicity in your life. And most of us, not all of us, have lost the simplicity of life. We have gotten caught up in the chaos, the high tech, must have, trying to impress everybody, live up to the Joneses rather, all this stuff that's going on. And yet, I was talking to my daughter many years ago, and she bought all these beautiful toys for my grandson. And he went into the closet or whatever, took out a pot, got a spoon, and was banging on the pot. Probably drove everybody crazy. But he had all these sophisticated toys for a 4 and 5-year-old. But he chose the pot. Why did he choose the pot? Well, it makes a sound. It's very basic. But perhaps he really wanted to learn to play drums or some other percussion instrument, which he missed all that, which is fine. It's not a criticism. But some of the most basic things. And years ago, I was a spiritual intuitive consultant for an international corporation, and I traveled to many places. And one of the places I traveled to was Antigua. You would say Antigua, but Antigua. And I watched the people. And they had one central water. They had water in the house. They went to a faucet and got the water, and then they would cook. And don't know if they had washing machines. One of the joy was the electric company. You'd have power some days you didn't. It all depended upon it. But I watched the kids. They were happy. They didn't have TVs. They didn't have computers. Many of them were going to parochial school, and they were dressed in the uniforms, and the white was whiter than white. Their shirts like starch and perfect, all done by hand. But everybody was happy because life was simple. Our lives are not simple now anymore. We have so much going on in our lives. We hardly have time for ourselves. And we forgot that as we get caught up in the tumultuous of life, keeping up with the Joneses, the high technology, the cars, the houses, all this stuff, we stick out our chest and say, I have a $2 million home. I have, a Bentley or I have all this. You worked your tail off for it. Well, congratulations. So here's the story I go, when the pharaohs were buried in their tombs, they took a certain amount of money with them. So they had to cross the river Styx, and then they had to buy their way back, and they were buried with all their gold and everything within them, all the money. And I says, guess what? You know, I got the money, the grave robbers. So, hello, enjoy life. You can't take it with you. What you take with you is the beautiful experiences of life. You take with you the joy of life. You take with you your experiences. Now's the time, while all the gosh darn chaos in our life, for us to think about this. Where are my thoughts? What kind of synchronicity? And how do I bring joy and happiness into my life? I want to thank all of you. Food for thought. Please leave your comments. And I want to thank to you for writing in all that information into the chats. I appreciate it. And now we're coming to an end. And I'd like you to share this with your friends and also push the subscribe button. And it's important that we get these words of wisdom out. Maybe you're familiar with them. Maybe you've forgotten them. This is all about tickling your memory. Everyone, please share this. Now I like to share some beautiful, wonderful things that I do. So every Tuesday evening, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time to 7:30 p.m. It's called Soul Awakening. And what you do is ask questions, and I deliver a 5-minute, a 10-minute message. Hopefully, it can answer your questions. And even maybe you know some of these things and you've forgotten it. Really helpful to remember. So, what I use is freeconferencecall.com and the telephone number to do that, but you can do it in your pajamas and nobody will know.
The number there is 202 926 1059. And the access code, Michael?
125446 #.
One more time on the number. It's 202 926 1059. And the code, Michael?
Access goes 125446 #. Now, using that same code numbers, same set of numbers, the second Saturday of every month, I do mass consciousness healing. It's 9:55 a.m. Pacific time to 11:01 Pacific time. So it's an hour and 6 minutes. And it's all about the first couple of minutes. We talk, we introduce ourselves, and then we go into a silent meditation. So if you join us late, just know it's silent. And then we end at 11:01, 11:02, pretty much on time, 99% of the time. And it's all about how do you care? How much do you care to change the energy on this planet? Mass consciousness healing says healing Mother Earth because she's a living, breathing entity. All the inhabitants on this planet, the animal, vegetable, mineral kingdom, everything that exists, you're healing, and not only yourself. And to access that, we'll do it one more time. Same code numbers.
Here we go. 202 926 1059. And the code, Michael?
Access goes 125446 #. The same as the words, the soul awakening. And then, as you know, every Thursday evening, we do this beautiful words of wisdom from 7 to 7:30. You can watch it on YouTube, Dr. Michael B. Gross. And also, you'll find other things that we've done. So all these wonderful podcasts, shall we call it, that we've done, but also those 10-minute messages that I share every Tuesday. We have about 310 or 315 of them. And we have award-winning photography pictures by T.U. Knapp, who's got many awards. And there's a little expression or saying on it. What you think you create your experience. And then I deliver a 10-minute message. And if you're stuck in traffic, you're bored, you're depressed, you're down, you're angry, pick a number from 3 to 350. So you go, well, what number should I pick, Michael? Just let your soul pick it. I cannot tell you how many times people say, I don't know, I'll pick 124. Just what I wanted to hear. Didn't know what it was, but it's just what I wanted to hear. And I wanted to share that. And that's a little different number because you can do it in the car, traffic, meditating, or if somebody's late for an appointment and you're bored. To access that information, please share.
That number is 434 300 4170. And the same code, Michael?
Access code is 125 446 pound. When you go on it, it's going to ask you what number. I start at number 3 to 315. Pick a number, and it'll be the right one for you. Would you repeat that one more time?
Sure. 434-300-4170. And the code?
125446 pound. So everyone, I encourage you to do that. And what's the price? Free. And I also offer a complimentary session for approximately 30 minutes. The telephone number is listed there. So please call me. And if I'm tired and don't pick up, leave me a message. Don't text me. Call me first. Because I don't look at my text messages many times till it's late. So it could be another day till I get to you. Excuse me. So it's really works out best that way. All right. And I would ask everyone to check out my website. It's drmichaelgross.com. Ah, you beat me. We have a little contest. And so these are the two books we want to share with you. Healing the Holes in Your Soul, written by T.U. Knapp. And I think I know the guy who wrote the foreword, some guy I'm familiar with. But more importantly, it's a book of survival. It's a book of learning to listen to the thoughts of your soul. It's a book into finding who you truly are and manifest your missions and goals. It's a must read.
But
I
thank you,
recommend.
Michael. Let's start here. The Spiritual Primer. This is the second edition that Michael's come up with. It's absolutely phenomenal. And if it wasn't for the first edition of the Spiritual Primer and that gentleman right next to me, that book he's holding wouldn't even be in existence. He has taught me so much, and he continues to blow me away at the wonderful experiences and the things that happen when we follow exactly what he talks about in the book, and how we can learn more about ourselves. We all have a voice within, we all have a story to tell. And Michael is the epitome of excellence in bringing out our best selves. So definitely start with this book and this wonderful gentleman I'm pointing to right over here.
Thank you for your kind words. I appreciate it. The reason we talk about our book, and I said this before, we're not in the business to sell books. We've written books to encourage many souls to help find themselves, to achieve their missions and goals, to find love and joy and happiness. And it's something it's a legacy you can pass on to your children or family or friends. Right now, my book is not on Amazon. This is the second edition. And the reason is because number one, I haven't gotten around to sending it to Amazon yet. Therefore, you can contact me and I'll be glad to autograph a book, put a little message in it for you and mail it to you. And well, I accept credit cards or whatever messages you want. But my mission and goal is to get 1% of the population to reconnect with the true source. And once we get that, then the 100th monkey syndrome will begin to pass on to others and others. Because I want everyone to realize this, that you are the solution and you can make a difference. Thank you. Tell everyone about what we're doing and we'll share this information. Remember, we love you. Namaste.
You
Take
are
care,
our.
everyone.
Thank you.